Hey, so this is me and Diamond. Thank you, Diamond. Good kisses. Thank you. And I just wanted to put together this video because it's the Saturday before she goes to forever home. Yes, thank you. Tuesday, she officially is adopted. Diamond, if you didn't know, is my foster. I've had her since the end of June, and the reason I fostered her was because LA County shelters, during the 4th of July weekend, they get overcrowded and are in desperate need, right? So, they were looking for fosters and, even like a 4-day program. And, I decided, okay, well, let me do what I can, right? So I took her on, and, for me, it just wasn't an option to return her to the shelter, essentially, right? So it's been about a month and a half. And yeah, now we finally have a forever home for her. That's going to be amazing. And what a journey it's been. I think, one of the hard parts about being a foster is you just don't know how long you have them for, right? It's one of those things like no matter what you do week in, week out, I could put on my to-do list, reach out to places, circle back, do this. Like at a certain point, yes, you need to put in the effort, but it is about luck and timing and, all that stuff. So it teaches you to be patient, right? And to just really live in a lot of ways in the unknown, right? And that's difficult, right? Because, they're getting acclimated. There's the 3-3-3 rule where the first 3 days, take some they can be a little bit skittish. Then 3 weeks, they start to show their personalities. And 3 months in, they're really part of the family, right? And, my life, as you imagine, is very fast-paced and stuff like that. And, I very much wanted to find her a good home. Unfortunately, the timing of my life is as much as I would love to. It's just not a good time, place in my life to be able to have a dog for, an extended period of time. And many people pressured me to adopt her, and she's very lovable, and certainly we have a very strong bond. Yes, we do. But things work the way they're supposed to, and I did have somebody else that was kind of interested, and she fell in love with her too. But it just she already has one dog. It's just her, and she teaches out of school, and so it would take time for her to acclimate with Diamond, and she didn't feel like she would be able to do that, right? But she was you could tell like she was so really thinking about it because she just wanted the best for Diamond, and she wanted Diamond, but she also wanted the best, and that. And I didn't want to put pressure on that, right? Like that's another thing in general. When we talk about fosters, or just dogs in general, right? You're not selling forks here, right? And so people are like, oh, you should act. And it's like, if I'm not getting the vibe, I'm not gonna, press the issue. And, certainly not with it. Like if anything, that was a person that felt like, she really wanted her. But, so sometimes walking down the street, stuff like that, people would go up to her and be like, oh my gosh, she's so cute. And, I'd say, oh, she's available for adoption. And if they didn't, really respond in kind of like just a way that you would think where it would indicate to you that they would be interested, then that's it. It's just more of a matter of fact at that point and stuff like that. But, part of it I wanted to put together just for posterity for me, if I'm being honest. What a journey it's been, One of the things about the whole experience is it teaches you how much you still have left to grow, right? I talk a lot about mastering mental fortitude and, self-development and stuff like that. Therapy has been a wonderful tool for me, and this has kind of, been a good indicator of how much left is on my journey, right? Because it at times it can test your patience. Like I said, you're really living in the unknown. And not that, like, she's bad in any capacity. I always told people, like, she's an A minus, and I wanted to get her to an A, right? So, she does have separation anxiety, but it's very minor, right? Like, I had a dog named Sparky, and he suffered so badly. Like, he would break out of kennels, he would break out of door, like, he would destroy stuff, not because he meant to, but, that's how much it affected him, right? She's just more curious than anything. So we've worked on that, and now we're working on heel, and I almost got her to learn the treadmill. That was something I really wanted to learn, get her to teach her, but she's made a lot of progress. Like, that's, it's, when I say patience, it really is all about that, because it's a lot of repetition, and rewarding them for the good behavior, right? And just taking those incremental steps, like the treadmill in particular. It's like, at first it was just a chore to even get her to come near it. And then when she, went on it and it was turned off, like, that was a big accomplishment. And then she would get near it when it was turned on, but she wouldn't step on it. And now, she'll put her 2 front paws on it and be totally fine, right? I just haven't gotten her to be able to, like, all the way fully, put all 4 paws on there and be able to do it. But it is magical to see her progress, and, like, her separation anxiety. I taught her this thing called place, right? Where she would go on her mat and kind of stay there. And at first, I couldn't walk a foot without her, breaking, essentially. And now she'll stay there, right? Even if I open the door and all this stuff. So, we've come a long way. Heel, we've been working on solid for, like, the past week, and she's really getting it down. So, yeah, I'm very proud of her. And, I look back at my journey. It started off the 4th of July weekend. We went to the beach. She liked the beach, didn't love the water. But I'm sure if, part of it is, like, we all need people to help guide us, right? And so I'm sure if there was another dog, she would, could take example from. She could have gone in the ocean. She could have, gone in a swimming pool and stuff like that. Like, it would have been fun to see her do that. But, especially in the early days, she was a little bit more skittish. Never aggressive, just skittish, but fun, and enjoyed it, right? I remember our first walks together. Every now and then she would, like, look back and jump up as if, like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, is this happening? This is so amazing, right? So that was a lot of fun. And they say you're not supposed to take them to the dog park, but, and the reason for that is because they can learn bad behavior and stuff like that. But, every now and then, as like a treat, I would take her, and she just loves fetch. So we played fetch there and out of the dogs, and, there was never any incidents. She was always great. Like, she's really good with other dogs, and if anything, she kind of keeps to herself and would much rather play fetch with some other dog than, like, meet and greet, that type of stuff. We went to Solvang for a few days with my friend Anthony, and she did amazing there. A few times when a dog would pass by and she couldn't say hi, she would bark, but overall did really good, right? And especially in those early days, it was such an unknown, right? And so for her to be that way was amazing. We learned that she loves to play fetch, so we've gotten that, and what a journey it's been. I taught her a little bit of tug of war, so we enjoyed that. We've been on hikes, right? One of my friends, JJ, she's been training for a marathon, and she runs with these people, and they have, JJ has a dog named Brew, and there's another person with a dog named Kylo. And so, we would at Griffith Park at 5:30 in the morning, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we would go and we would run. And so we're gonna do one final run together, all of us on Tuesday. So that's gonna be fun. She really enjoys that, and she's befriended Rue and Kylo. JJ was amazing because she dog sat her at a few points when I need to go, like the dentist and stuff like that, just an hour here, whatever, or a few hours, as silly as it may be, like when I needed to go to like the movies and stuff like that. So I'm very appreciative. And then other times when I had other obligations, I would get a dog sitter, and, a little bit costly, but, good peace of mind to know that she was safe. And, it took us a while to find the right dog sitters. And there was a place that I went to where basically it was at the person's place, and there was a yard, and so she enjoyed that. And then that person went on vacation for a little bit, and so through WAG, I found somebody that would essentially come here and stay with her, and so that was good. The interesting part too, because the summer heat, she didn't want to go out in the middle of the day, and I don't blame her, but obviously she needed to go potty because, I'm in an apartment building, and so, we got our booties, and at first it took her a little bit to get used to them, but then she loved them, and then, she wouldn't leave the house without them, right? And that's what's so funny. And so we developed this pretty simple routine where she would lie down on the couch kind of like this, and, I would just put the booties on her, and, no fuss, no mess. Whereas my other dogs that I've had in the past, they they would never, right? And even if I could put them on there, they would just like rip them off and stuff like that. So, it's fun to observe different personalities, and she definitely has personality. She'll during walks, she'll let you know where she wants to go and where she doesn't. And I think a lot of it, she got hesitant to get in the car, and part of that I think was it was just an unknown of where we're going. And most times, we either went to the dog park, we went to hikes, but I think the few instances where we went to see, maybe a trainer or, visit some place that could be a dog sitter, she was perhaps a little bit not scarred by that. That's not the right word, but just, put off. And so it just left an impression. And so I think we're still working through that a little bit, because she's still hesitant to get in the car, even though now, I just try to really, really keep it to good, positive things. But yeah, we've done a lot of hikes. We even did, one of the funny things was I did happy hour with my friend Lena in Burbank, and I took her, and she was amazing. She just kind of lay down on the ground and was there for a good while with us, and then we walked back, and it was funny because we gave her, because she was being so good, we gave her a piece of chicken from the salad, and as we were walking by like a Shake Shack or there's a Chinese restaurant, she essentially laid down and didn't want to move. She's like, let's go, I want to taste the food here, right? So it's just kind of funny, as I said, her personality and seeing it. And, she'll definitely let you know kind of what's on her mind in her own way. So we've done that. Yeah, we've done a lot. We did some bike rides. She's very good, even in Solvang, we wanted to check out the ostriches, which was like 2 miles away. And the hotel we were at had complimentary bikes, and so we went, and that was my first time, and it worked. And so when I got back here, I would bike with her every so often. In the heat, it would be at night. Now our routine is kind of long walk in the morning before the sun really hits, usually at like 6, And then in the evenings, we go and play fetch, and then take a nice long walk. And then, at night, we'll take like one final potty break. And then in the middle of the day, when it was really hot, we would just do like a potty break. But now we do a potty break and a good, decent walk. Well, it's only been like 85 degrees, which isn't too bad. So yeah, it's been a journey, but it's been an interesting one, and I'm very proud of her. It's definitely going to be bittersweet. We've done Reiki together, which I've posted about, and we did a second session actually. The first one, it was interesting because at first she didn't want to have anything to do with it, right? So she kind of left the room, and then as the session was going on, maybe like 5 minutes into it, she came back and laid down and like kind of partook. And it was funny because at the end of the session, that first one, Grace said, now take one final breath in and exhale. And as if listening, she really did that. She like went, right? And it was just so funny to see her do that. And the fact that, call coincidence, I don't know, but the fact that it happened when Grace was calling for it was really cool to see. And again, could be coincidence. I don't know, right? I don't know how to explain certain things, and then we did it a second time, and she was so excited, right? As soon as she saw Grace on the Zoom call, she was relaxed and essentially ready for it, and she had a good time with it, right? I think the first one was more about really calming her, and the reason I did the second one was this was after we had essentially found the forever home, and I found it, in August, but they couldn't take her until August 15th, right? So I knew I would have essentially like 15 more days with her, and so I just wanted to kind of, I guess, prepare her, right? But also myself, it's one of those bittersweet things. Like I wish I could, be with her and be her forever home, but just not on the cards. And so her new home, they're retired. They've been looking for a while. And this just was the right fit, right? And, I've been communicating with them, and they've been wonderful. I created this whole little handbook on her, which took a little bit, but it's extensive and it's broken down, by table of contents and so forth. So I'm really proud, and trying to essentially set them up on, success, right? I want this to work for them, and I want this to work for, of course, her. So I did that, and it'll be interesting because they want to rename her, which is a good notion. Oftentimes, once you take a dog from the shelter, it's good to not have any association with the past, and so a new name is like a fresh start. The only thing that stings is oh, you're kind of erasing me, and of course, she'll never forget me, right? 10 years could go by, and she just won't. I've seen it before with other dogs that I've helped get forever homes, Boomer and Beamer in particular. Not that you need to know who that is, but it's just they never forgot me, right? And I remember seeing them even after 2 years, and it's just so great and wonderful, right? So I know our bond is going to be strong. And I want to be a part of her life as much as possible. The good news is, why this forever home works so well is because, their friends also have dogs, and they're, as I said, they're retired, so they're constantly hanging out. They dog sit for their friends, and now their friends will be able to dog sit for them. So in that sense, I won't necessarily be needed, even though, I told them, hey, if you ever need a dog sitter, totally hit me up, happy to be part of it. The tough part is, on Tuesday, we're gonna have to go back to the shelter because essentially the way the process works, it's LA County, right? And so essentially I am surrendering her back to the shelter, and then the person fills out the application, and they adopt her, right? And technically she's never been mine, right? She's part of LA County. I'm only her foster. Unlike with like a rescue organization, if they rescued her, they would technically be legally responsible for her well-being and stuff like that. But because I'm not part of any organization, I am not. And so, she is still an LA County dog. So my joke is, that she has rehabilitated well and ready to be a good citizen in the world, whatever that phrase is, right? A valuable asset to society or whatever. So it's unfortunate that we essentially have to go back to the scene of the crime. Luckily, it should be only about like 20 to 30 minutes total process, and it's not like she's going to go back in a kennel. But still, it's hard, and luckily, it's not going to be her lasting memory of me. We're going to do that paperwork, and then I'm going to drive her to the house and get her acclimated there. But it's going to be hard, It's obviously it's different than losing a pet forever, because she'll be alive and well and live a fruitful life. But all the same, there's a little bit of heartache, and so it'll be tough to try to maintain composure because for her benefit, but it's difficult. There's a quote from Californication, loving you has been the most profound, intense, painful experience of my life. In some sense, not like painful, like she's a nuisance, but yeah, it's profound, and it's a good sort of reminder that nothing in life lasts, and this was never meant to be permanent. I was just supposed to provide stewardship onto the next phase of our life, and I'm glad I did, So, it's definitely been a journey. It has. At times, she does some things that can upset me, and you have to keep your composure. And as much as I'm getting used to her, she had to get used to me, right? I'm sure that wasn't easy either. So it's all just lessons, and another aspect that I think about is, we've done a lot of training, right? And it took us a while to, find trainers that we liked. JC's Canines, for example, that was a great resource for me. One of the trainers, Melissa Goodman, came to the house, and we assessed, and we came up with like a game plan to help her out. So that was really beneficial. And then, going to the Zoom room, I went to the one in Sherman Oaks. They have many, many locations, and that was really useful to work with her, and a good option in terms of price. And she really took a liking to it. So it was a lot of fun. She's really someone who loves to learn, loves to train, and the way we would do it at home was just like 2 to 3 minutes, a couple times a day, on walks. We would incorporate some of the lessons that we could, when we were out and about. We would incorporate some of those. Like I said, for her to rest on a mat when I was out with my friend Alina at happy hour. So, yeah, it's been a wonderful journey to see her develop, and become at ease with me, with herself, and with other people too. I think that's also important, is that, she trusts other people as well, and that's good. So, yeah, it's one of those things, we can't save them all, and that sucks. All we can do is what we can do. But I know her life has changed for the better. And that means something, Just because we can't do it all doesn't mean we can't try, and we give up. Because then that's just spiritual bypassing, right? And that doesn't work. And, as far as a go forward for me, as much as I would love to continue fostering, it's just going to be a little bit tough. And so instead, as I said, it's never enough, but we do what we can. And so for me, I'm going to volunteer at the shelter, which includes like walking dogs, cleaning their kennels, reading to them, having families or potential adopters meet with them, and so forth, right? Like all the stuff that they need, and just give them a little bit of love. And that'll be an interesting experience, because in many ways it's a dark place to be in, certainly for them, certainly observing it. But if we don't do it, then what's the alternative, right? And so, it's always interesting. In the darkest of places, oftentimes, you find the kindest souls, and that kinship just heals, right? And certainly, she was in the shelter since April. So I fostered her at the end of June. Bless you. So, I'm very grateful to the people that did take care of her, because, they had enough notes and got her calm enough where I could foster her no problem. So that means something, right? Like it's all a part of it, and we never know the effect we have on someone's life, person or creature, or this earth. And we have to get out of our way of the rugged individualistic mentality and realize the interconnectedness of all of us. By the way, because of the heat, she has shed a lot more. So, now I'm doing daily brushing and stuff like that. Not her fault, but definitely a bit of a chore. And as far as me, I'm gonna kind of do some long overdue spring cleaning as well, get some new energy in here, just to get myself a project. Because, it's, having a presence here, a live presence, you feel it, you do, and my last dog passed away at the end of 2022 in December. So that energy's been a little bit missing, and so, she certainly brought it back, and, I don't want to have withdrawals, so, I think it'll be good to just allow space for new opportunity, new things, new mindset, so kind of redecorate, reorganize, get rid of stuff that I don't need. And one of the big things that I also want to do is, so I have the urns for, thank you, good kisses. I have the urns for, my pets that passed away. And I think it's time to, spread the ashes, pick a place, and set them free, essentially. I don't know, that just feels right. It feels like maybe I've been holding on to them um, in a way that, I don't know. It's not that I shouldn't, but because my mentality was, well, we're all here together, right? And that way I'll never forget them, and they'll be here in my presence. But now feels like the right time to, you know what? It's time for you to, be at peace and roam the world as you wish, right? So I think spreading those ashes will be nice. And obviously I'll never forget them, just like I won't forget her. And in fact, I have printouts of, like, large poster size printouts of my dogs on the walls. And so there's a beautiful picture that my friend Marissa Serafini took on one of our first hikes together at Griffith that I'm going to get made as well and put that up. So just because she's not going to be with me doesn't mean she didn't have an effect on me. A beautiful thing that my friend Julana posted was, that the reason animals don't speak is because they're meant to teach us that love is done through actions and gestures. And that's so true, right? That's another big lesson that you sort of take away from this is, how you communicate and show affection and how you bond with them is through simple stuff like this, right? And then it means something. So it'll be interesting. I'll certainly keep you posted. But it's been a wonderful experience. Definitely hard at times, not because of her, but for the simple fact of, you just want to do what's best. And, the demands of schedules and stuff like that sometimes prevent you, and you have to figure out solutions and whatnot to be able to accomplish the things of daily tasks. And that's why, we all just need to be able to lean on each other, and that's tough because we're all just trying to get through our day, really, right? And it's also equally tough here in California. Like, there's never been more dogs in shelters than this year, which is really, and it's not like it was that great to begin with. So, unnecessary breeding or breeding, like, it just needs to stop in that way. Because there's so many dogs that need homes. But yeah, we can do what we can do and just keep going, So that's about it. Maybe there's some takeaway through that. I tried to provide it, but really it's just more of a documentation for me to remember all the good times that we've had together. We would do movie nights. She really liked that. She loved watermelon. On hot days, I gave her watermelon. She really liked that. I remember watching Spirited Away in particular. And I felt very apropos because it's all about, like, going to a new place and being brave. And she can get a little bit timid, and this was after I had found her forever home, and so I was like, you know what, this is you, watch this. And so that's a really good movie, and felt right for her. So I don't know, that's just a fun memory. Lots of fun memories, very small but impactful, right? Nothing, and I think that's, if anything, it's a good lesson for us all that we try to be so grand and big in life, and if you can find the joy in the simple stuff, you'll live a very happy life. And look at her. She's pretty happy to me. she's made me very happy. So that's it. Thank you for watching. And if you ever have any questions about fostering, training dogs, whatever, I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. I'm just doing the best I can. And one of my guiding principles is just doing it with love. I don't subscribe to the e-collars or, punishment or anything like that. It's all about just positive reinforcement and working with their personalities to get them to do what they want. That's why, like, when I talked about the treadmill, I didn't just, crank it up and just throw her on it, because maybe that would have worked, sure, okay, but at what cost? She would have hated me, and just, no. Let her have a positive association with something, work on it on her own pace, and get her to want to do it, as opposed to forcing her. So that's been my guiding light. So, thank you, and know that she will have a wonderful, wonderful home. And I'm glad to have been along for the journey.